What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven once again with some Once Upon a Galaxy. We are in the middle of a game right here as I'm doing some post commentary. I just wanted to take a look at two different games, parts of two different games at least, where I played animals, which isn't the most crazy out there comp, but can still put together some really crazy boards. And this turn is absolutely fantastic. I get a Mama Bear, I silver it, and then I gold a Jill Sunshine, which gives me the Gemstone Garden. And I'm already really well set up for it with both Mama Bear and Baby Bear. And then next turn I get Hungry Hyena. So now each turn I'm giving all of my slots with animals +3/+3 just from the animal buffs, and then another +6/+6 from the garden. So +9/+9 each turn on each slot with an animal. And then if Pyrat can hunt, it will also give another +3/+2. So a total of +12/+11 on that slot. So really fantastic stuff across the board. And you can see that is already out of hand very quickly. I'm going to look for some more animals because Mama Bear's only an animal, and from there I think I will just take a Pyrat. Was thinking about replacing the Shanty with a Anna Bunny, but just going to go for the Pyrat, and then I will two-headed wizard and golden the Pyrat actually. So what does that give me? Probably just take the warp engine drive here just to get that first attack and get that Pyrat, keep the hunts going, and just keep scaling all of my board. But take a look at my board, take a look at my opponent's board. It's not particularly close right now with them only taking out my Shanty, which is my only non-animal slot, and not even getting close to touching my other slots here. I could double over the rainbow with my two-headed wizard. Looks like I will just go for a Magnificent though. I don't know. I feel like over the rainbow is a fine use of the two-headed wizard. Okay, that is ultimately what I go for. And then Midas Touch could be kind of cool on the Mama Bear. That'll give my slots +4/+4. It won't give them +2/+2 and +2/+2, so it will only trigger with the Gemstone Gardens one time. But that's fine. I will take that, and I will still delay what I am over the rainbow on, so that way I get to potentially get a really big over the rainbow on a legendary card, and it's actually going to be a triple over the rainbow here. And now I could huff and puff, or I could just take a Bronze Goose. That's pretty big. I was double checking that was I Am Root and not the Giving Tree to see if I could get some, because if I could put all of those stat buffs onto one of my slots, that would have been pretty cool. And then I see the Ship Shape Inspector, and I do, oh, and there's also Conan. Oh, that's tricky. Yeah, I mean, Conan, my slots are so buffed, it's gonna get active super quickly here. So I probably just take Conan and throw it into my biggest slot. The Ship Shape Inspector would be a free treasure, but Conan should probably activate too. And I think it's fun, even if it might be a little bit suboptimal, just because Pyrat is growing my slots so much that I do kind of want to keep it. But I'm going to go for the Conan. It will activate in just 3 combats, like 3 parts of a battle, but it only gets in 1 fight. I guess like a fight maybe is what we'll call it. 3 fights in a battle there. Not quite going to complete it in this one, but pick up a Shrink Tree. There's Guardian of the Grove here, but I don't really want to toss anything. And that's one of the tricky parts about animals is you're kind of full build with Mama Bear, Hungry Hyena, and Baby Bear. You just, there's like a few other cards that are cool on Synergy. Conan will complete the treasure this turn, by the way, which is super sweet. And I don't want to toss the Bronze Goose because it just has so much stats on it that it is way too cool. Here could pick up a Statue of Olympus or a Starstone. I'm pumping slots this game, so we're going to keep on pumping, and then I will take a Lost in the Woods. Sorcerer's Map is like fine, because, but I'm not really summoning with this. Fire-breathing dragon is probably the pickup here because all of my slots are so big that getting a big ranged character could be cool. But white whale's an animal. I could see going for that too. And honestly, I could also just see sticking with the Conan and not messing with anything. And then from here, lightning bolt's fine. Puss in Boots, just to cycle through that, will probably be what I do. I could use the Puss in Boots is same as Pyrat. It will continue to pump up the slots, but don't really think it's worth losing the fire-breathing dragon with how little of this game is left. I think just having a ranged character is probably more important than continuing to pump up my slots. I think my slots are plenty pumped enough, and yeah, should do us perfectly fine here. So this is, I mean, there's one more combat. I will just finish it out. Oh no, that was it. But I did play another game right after that where I went into animals as well. So I wanted to kind of do a mashup of both of these for one video. And you can see pretty early on, I find myself in animals with these pirate animals with Puss in Boots and Pyrat alongside the despicable Smee. But I'm just going to favor the hungry hyena. And when I have the chance to just grow all of my slots here, I think that's pretty cool. And if I can find the ship-shape inspector, excuse me, that will also allow me to get a free treasure down the line. But it's not going to be for a little bit, unfortunately. What do we go for this turn? I really don't love Rudolph. I'll just go for Jack for a little bit more stats. Keeping the flying monkey, I don't know, might be a little bit questionable. Oh, Lily just left. So let me turn off her camera as well. And I didn't go for the animal recruit. I instead just went for Captain Ahab. There was an interesting play there though, because whatever that card was called, that going into turn 5 is interesting because it could have set me up for finding Mama Bear right on turn 5, which would have been a pretty big power spike. So I think that that was something to consider. But I'm just going to roll through all of these shops here, pick up a 3 bags full, probably go for the Robin Hood's bow at this point. Had to pick up Jack Frost, by the way, for the Cowardly Lion. I don't know if I mentioned that, but just trying to get those quests. I'm looking for the treasure. I always want to find the Gemstone Garden before I like really commit to animals. So you can see that's kind of why I wanted to show off this game too, and because of the end game of it. But I'm not just like blindly trying to force animals each game. I'm like doing some animal stuff, and then if the treasures pan out that Gemstone Garden shows up early enough, then yeah, I'll move into animals and I'll try it out. But like not trying to force it. If you don't get Gemstone Gardens, probably avoid forcing animals, but it can still be very good with just Mama Bear and Hungry Hyena. So your mileage may vary. Here, I don't know if I really love any of these treasures. I just go for Blackbeard's Comb, though, thinking it could allow me to set up for some fun and interesting endgame stuff. But I still kind of want to play animals, so I wind up picking up the Minotaur here. Fairy Godmother is probably better than Captain Ahab now that I've gotten the treasure from that, so that is going to make its way onto the board. And then Karma Chameleon I wind up putting in as well. I do think I might have wanted to sell off Jack Frost and keep the fairy, just so that way the fairy could pump up the Karma Chameleon. But this turn, so it's a little bit trickier without a hand like you have in Storybook Brawl or Fairy Tale Fables. I was intentionally trying to not hunt with Karma Chameleon that turn because I was about to turn into turn 7, and then, let me pause it here for a second. So if I had hunted with Karma Chameleon on turn 6, I would have gotten an epic, and then it would have turned turn 7, and I would have had epics just in my shop. But now, if I can hunt with Karma Chameleon, I will get a legendary before we go into another turn of just being able to find epics. So that was the idea there, and now I'm going to be able to pick up a Mama Bear to pump up that Karma Chameleon, and I will throw that in the first slot alongside a Presence of Gaia. You can see I am really trying to get that thing active now. And Baby Bear is actually one of the best cards that I can pick up at this stage of the game because it gives an additional +2, +3 to each of my slots every single turn. That's going to be enough that Karma Chameleon is able to hunt and survive while turning into the Kraken. I said that was a really important play with the Karma Chameleon. Now, not only do I have a fantastic animal in the form of the Kraken, but the Kraken is an animal that pumps all 3 front slots. It's a pirate animal. It is really, really fantastic, and probably the best animal outside of Hungry Hyena, Baby Bear, and Mama Bear for this comp. I mean, it's arguably just as good as those because it has a lot of stats and it's giving +8/+8, which turns into +10/+10 to all 3 of your front row slots every single turn. Really fantastic. From here, it's going to be difficult to win, I think. So what else would we like? We might maybe enjoy like Blackbeard's Pirate. That could be an interesting animal to fill out the board. I'm going to go for a Silvery Moon and then another Presence of Gaia. Make sure that that Kraken can keep on cracking. And then I might pick up another Fire-Breathing Dragon here. Seems like that might be a little bit early in this game. I'm just going to go for Fires of Ares here. Put even more stats on the Kraken. Make sure that there is no way that this thing ain't slaying, and if that's slaying, like I said, then everything else gets +10/+10, including its own slot too. So it scales itself, and ultimately just makes for a really, really easy end game here. Now I get to gold the Kraken. There's also a Pied Piper, but I'm going to gold the Kraken, and then I'm going to take the KO Star, which is all 3 of my frontline characters can be villains, with Hungry Hyena and Minotaur actually coming in clutch here as a villainous animal. Baby Bear is a hero, and Mama Bear is nothing. So not going to worry about anything else. This is just my full build, unless I find like a better evil animal to replace the Minotaur with. I think I'm just sticking with this. Maybe I would cut the Minotaur for like the ship-shaped captain or something just to grab another treasure. But, oh, and then we have Conan. Okay, I'll get Conan in here. Let's take a look. I mean, yeah, I could just immediately activate Conan by throwing it in the Kraken slot, and even if I just put it in this slot, it's at over 100, so it might even just activate in one combat. So I'll do that. Sure, I'm not going to pass up a treasure. That's always too sweet. And then I will just twinkle here before getting in with the Kraken. I do think Conan is pretty likely to activate in one combat. It just has to get attacked into, and not by that, but by the Oberon, perchance. Nice. So we get it done. We get a legendary treasure, and that will probably just be Excalibur. Double my heroes. That's only Baby Bear, but it's also Conan. So that seems fine too. Now I have to read every animal to see if they have additional hero or villain tags. Neither of these ones do. Mix and Match doesn't seem super impressive, but my Mama Bear doesn't have that much like innate stats on it. Then I find Ship Shape Inspector, so sure, let's do that too. And I get to pick up the Co-Captain's Courser. I think that's pronounced Courser, right? And get to be either Dorothy, Dungeon Master, or Loki. At this stage of the game, I don't know if any of this really matters. I guess I'll pick Dungeon Master because maybe that will let me get a legend or a secret rare treasure off of some of this stuff. I don't think it actually comes up, but maybe it will. Rewound for a second just because the video was looking a little bit worse quality, but now we are back into it. I play all of these on my phone. That's mostly how I've been enjoying Once Upon a Galaxy, and then I upload the good ones to YouTube and then do some post commentary here on them. But that's going to be it for me today. I will have some more coming up though, so subscribe. But for today, that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.